sandwich. So on your screen, you're going to see the picture of the shaving cream sandwich because unfortunately, you know, we have to do it virtually, but it's going to still be great. So using probably a lighter color, so I have like my colors kind of like right here, and I chose colors that I could see in the sandwich, so I can see like hints of blue as like the shadows of the shaving cream. I've got my white, I have dark brown, a medium brown, a golden, and then like a light yellow, and then a touch of red for like in the crust where it's a little bit more warm. And you notice I don't have black because black usually makes things feel a little bit muddy, so we're going to start with that. So I'm going to start with my light golden color because I find that it's easier to sketch with, and like if I mess up, it's not detrimental to the whole piece. And make sure you use a light hand, a light touch. Don't do it really heavy-handed, otherwise you're going to be sorry later. So I'm going to try to get that sandwich angle in. So if I'm looking at my sandwich, it kind of has a round top, and then it kind of goes back into space, and then it gets a little bit round again at the back. You know, I'm trying to keep my angle very similar to the one in the picture, right? Because we're supposed to be drawing this. This whole project is about drawing from life. So if you're not copying the one in the image, then you're not getting the point of the project. Then I'm going to add some depth, or sorry, height to my bread to show that it has thickness, right? And then I have a big crusty piece right here, and then I go down that way. Right, and like especially for like the edges of my crust that are going to be in the image, I mean I can add that in later. And then I have my shaving cream, which is kind of in there, and I can always come in with like the light blue and do that instead. I'll do that. I'll just go really lightly with the light blue, copying where it gets really poofy and fluffy and stuff. Probably something along these lines. If it's not 100% exact, it's okay. We just want it to be close or similar. And then I can see little bits of my bread. I can see a little bit under there, like the corner, and then it starts to come back out over here. Right? And we want a nice big sandwich. Notice that I took up, I want to say if I moved it over, it'd probably be about half the page. So, but because it's in the center, it feels like it's bigger. But a nice large sandwich, right? You just like with oil pastels, it's like once you start, you kind of have to just keep going, even if you mess up a little bit. So now, using the same color, I'm going to start to push in color. Oops, sorry, I forgot the bell. Anyway, push in color on my top. And I'm going to, again, start really lightly, because the thing about oil pastels is if you start too dark, the paper gets full, like the pores of the paper absorb the pastel, and then you can't add any more on top because it's just too saturated. So I'm just going to start really lightly in there. And then I might do the same thing with the side of my crust, and I've just got to remember where I've, colored it. Again, if you want to do it little piece by piece, that's fine. I'm going to bring in my darker brown for the darker edge. And I'm going to start pressing a little bit harder. And I don't want to completely outline this because then, it'll feel less real to the viewer. So I'm just going to kind of really gently put this in there and color it in. I just want to kind of get a little base layer because as soon as you put the first layer down, the other colors go on top and kind of start blending like paint. And then I have like a broken edge. I'm going to let it wiggle a little bit so it feels a little bit more organic. And then I'm going to bring in my darker brown because especially on my edges, I can see that it's darker. Ooh, especially right up here. And I'm trying to want to copy that. And again, this is all about doing it in layers. All right. And again, I'm going much faster than you guys will be going. One, because I already know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm the teacher and whatever, I should know what I'm doing. But also because I need to get it done quick so that you guys, can see it and then do it yourself without, spending too much time focusing on me. And I'm going to use this darker brown to add in some shadowed areas. Like especially on this side, it's really shadowed. It's like my light's coming from over here. So, and then the other great thing is that with your pastels, you can also bring in colors to help make shadows that you think might not normally be there. So like if I wanted to, I could add a touch of blue in here, And I got to be careful because remember, blue and yellow kind of makes green. So if I have a really bright, yellow color, I might not want to add a whole lot of blue because it'll make it feel a little sickly. But then I'm going to come back in maybe with some red just to add some greater warmth in this bread. Then I'm going to come back with my dark brown. Right? Like that. My light brown. And the good thing about lighter colors is that you can kind of use them on top to help blend things together. And it shouldn't lighten it too much. You don't want to go with straight white because then that will lighten it by quite a bit. But anyway, so coming back to the top of my bread, I'm going to start coming in from the edges. And sometimes a pastel will pick up a color from around it and kind of blend it out. So just be careful and watch out for that because you don't want it to get so heavy that it doesn't feel like your image anymore. And then I'm going to come back in, and you see like what I'm talking about, like pastel gets kind of dirty sometimes, and you might have to wipe it off on another piece of paper just to clean it. And then I'm going to come back in and press a little harder to start blending the colors together. And I'm going to try to go in the same direction each time. If I want to do maybe some bread texture, I might do little speckles on the bread. And again, these are probably a little bit random, and then I might come back in and just kind of blend those out with my brighter or richer golden brown. Right? I'm going to say I'm good on the bread. Right? We can kind of see a highlighted area, then we see a slightly darker area. Okay, so then moving on to shaving cream. I'm going to just do very gently. I'm going to go back over the marks I made before with my light blue because I can come back in with white and blend that out. Right, there's like a shadow over here. There's a lot of shadows like under here. And I might even come in with a little bit of the dark blue for those areas. And then using my white, I come in, really blend it. Oops, I got into my sandwich a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, I like that. I think that's nice. And again, if you feel like you've overblended it, come back in, refine some of it with your darker colors or your blues or whatever. More shadows under here. I don't want to get too dark because it's supposed to be cream. It's supposed to feel kind of light. But I know it's shadowed under here where it's touching the sandwich. I'm going to say that's good for now, just kind of fluffy blue. And I always do a blue because it just feels cool. Like shaving cream. I don't know if any of y'all ladies have put it on your face just to feel it, but it's kind of cool to do like the fake Santa Claus kind of thing. But hey, don't judge me. Anyway, and then I'm going to come back in to do my bottom piece. And again, there's no connection there. It's just kind of covered up by the cream. So I'm going to put it in quick, kind of making sure I color around my cream. And then I'm going to start doing this. And this one is going to be very shadowed because it's underneath the cream, and the cream is what the light is hitting. So it's going to be darker overall. But I like to layer the colors just so that it feels the same as the one on top. Then my dark brown. And I could even go get a darker brown, but I'm not going to stress about it because, I'm trying to do this quickly for you guys. So, but again, I want you to spend a little bit more time on it than I have, just because, mine might look a little rough. I'm going to start adding blue and more blue. And again, I don't want to add too much because then it'll start feeling green, and it does feel a little green. And then I'm going to come back with brown on top to try to make that feel more brown and not so green. Right? Maybe I might do a touch more red. I like the red. I like that the red feels really warm. I might put a little red in the bottom as well to get that sandwich feeling like that. Anyway, and then I want to do the shadow underneath. So really important about shadow, I would stick with the color you choose for the, what's it called, the shaving cream. So it's like shadow right here, kind of like where the shaving cream is poking out above it. And then we have shadow over here. And I'm going to do like a really thin one, thin shadow this direction. Then I'm going to get my dark blue. And we just kind of want to blend it out. Like that. And I wouldn't necessarily add white, but you could, just to kind of help those colors blend together. You just don't want to add too much because then it kind of feels more like you're highlighting it versus it being a shadow. So, wee, like that. There. Oop, and I don't like that there's like some sort of space in between there, so I'm going to come back in, cover that up, because I don't want there to be a white space. It's not a glowing thing, it's a sandwich. So, well, there it is. That's all she wrote, children. So that's what you're doing today. Sammy's. All right.